right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delayed start. We're just trying to get this to stream live to YouTube. But thank you for attending our freshman parent night. My name is John O'Rourke. I'm the assistant principal here at TF South, who oversees the PPS department, so the guidance counselors, social workers, school psychologists, etc. So obviously my job is to ensure that students are doing what they need to academically. It's to make sure that we create opportunities in my department for students to have post-secondary choices, whether it be college, career, and or military. And we are tasked with making sure that students grow from a social emotional perspective over the course of 4 years. So tonight, we're going to talk about a few things. Mostly it's going to be focused on academics, some of the initiatives that we've started, and kind of what we have in store for your incoming freshmen. One thing that I do ask is that any questions that you have, ladies and gentlemen, please keep them to the end. I'll be happy to stand up here and answer as many questions at the end of the presentation as you have. If you have a more individual or personal question, please feel free to ask me at the end of the presentation. So, first I'd like to introduce our building principal, Mr. Gorley. He's standing in the back. Mr. Gorley, do you want to come up and say a few words?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TF South, your high school family. I wish I could show you the big smile on my face, but there is one. Tonight's presentation is primarily academic in nature. On Thursday, August 12th, between 3:30 and 6:30, we also will have a more formal, informal open house for students if they would like to come back, walk the building, check out your lockers, walk your class schedule, that sort of thing. So tonight's more academic presentation. Next Thursday will be more kind of traveling around the building. My biggest goal for incoming freshmen and for all students is that they, in addition to do solid academic work, they join one sport or one activity, because the research shows in terms of social emotional health, in terms of test scores, in terms of college acceptance, in terms of scholarships, just getting involved in one thing outside makes a world of difference, and we've got the data to prove it. So once again, heartfelt welcome to TF South. Look forward to meeting you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Gorley. Greatly appreciate that. Rounding out our administrative team, we have a total of 4 assistant principals, with Mr. Mark Brew here, graduate of TF South, has been our athletic director for the past 15 years. We also have Mrs. LaQuisha Martin, who couldn't be here tonight, who's in charge of curriculum and instruction, and Mr. Michael Webb, who's in charge of building control. So, like I said, my name is John O'Rourke. You're going to get to know me well over these next 4 years, as well as my counseling staff. And so we'll start from the ground up and build our relationship tonight. So today, when you went through the registration process, you should have received a pamphlet talking about academics matter. That's kind of our motto, one of our mottos out of our office, listing all of our school counselors, all of our speech pathologists, and those who oversee student wellness. Okay, that should have been contained in your folder. Please reference that, and it also has some information which I'll talk to at the end of tonight about our quest for success, an idea that one of my counselors, Ms. James, created in the spring, that we've kind of blossomed into kind of a whole building initiative. So the other thing that you should have received is 2 other documents. One is a single-page school profile, giving you kind of an understanding of where we are at in the building. So our school is going to be about 1,900 students. Our attendance rate is around 93%. Over the course of 3 years, we graduate 90% of our students, Our average class over the last 4 years, since I've been in this position, has been about 500 students. So we do a pretty good job of getting students to graduate within 4 years, as well as have opportunities at the end of their senior year to choose what they would like to do. Academic scholarships have increased. Last year, through the pandemic, we were able to get just under $8 million in student academic scholarships. And since day one in the PPS office, we've done a great job to increase that, like I said, over the last 4 years, probably by $3.5 million. Our advanced placement scores have gone up. Okay, so on average, over the course of the last 4 years, we've had 65% of our students who've taken the exam achieve a 3 or higher. Okay, and one thing that we've added this year, which is new, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which is an opportunity for your students when they're juniors or seniors, is to be able to take classes from schools like Harvard, Arizona State, or Howard University while still being at TF South High School. And I'll speak to that a little bit later. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that you got, which is a little bit meatier of a document, is our detailed school profile. That was in the folder. And what I ask you to do, and the whole purpose of it, is to give you the understanding of what we do academically here at TF South and what we the opportunities that we try to provide for our students. Some key things that you need to know. Our SAT scores are increasing. That's a good thing. Our advanced placement numbers of students are rising. I think last year was our highest number, where we've had almost 420 students enrolled in at least one advanced placement course. We talked about the National Equity Lab, where students will have another opportunity to attain dual credit or possible college credit. We have college and university representatives are coming to our campus at large numbers, meeting with our students, wanting them to attend their college and universities. For students who have a different path and they want to enter the trades, whether it be plumbing, electrician, bricklayer, carpenter, okay, we have those career representatives coming to speak with our students and meet with our students as well, okay? We've seen an increase in the applications to universities. That's both 4-year, 2-year, and trade schools, and our scholarship dollars continue to rise and increase over 3 years. So what does that mean? That means a couple things. As your student is entering as a freshman, okay, that means that the PPS office, my school counselors, the building administration, and the teachers are working to provide our students opportunities, okay? The opportunity is, what do you want to be, where do you want to be after 4 years, okay? The graduate is just not the answer. We want to see past that, okay? We want to start creating these opportunities day one as a freshman. And yes, I understand that we're coming out of a pandemic and we haven't been in traditional school for about 18 months, okay? But we'll talk about everything that we'll be doing within this department to create this opportunity, to create this experience, and provide your student the knowledge and the background about not only what they want to do, but where they want to be at the end of 4 years. That's kind of the motto and the questions that we continually ask. Mr. Johnson? All right, so you'll see this, but we'll talk about our mission, our vision, and our core beliefs if you just want to click through this, but just some key things. We talked about maximizing achievement, growth, post-secondary aspirations. That's what we're going to do through 4 years for your student as well as for you. Okay, we're going to work together to build this relationship so that we can maximize your student's potential as a freshman, and over their growth after 4 years, provide them the opportunities that are of interest to them. Not just any opportunity, an opportunity that is unique to your student. Okay? Vision statement is the same thing. It's us working together over the next 4 years. Myself, Mr. Johnson, who's a counselor, Ms. James, who's a counselor. It's a partnership between us to make sure that we're providing the support academically, socially, okay, in all facets of our students' lives, so that our 470 current freshmen get off to a good start And if they falter, we have the correct supports in place to pick them back up and get them on track so that we can do what we need to do, okay? And along the way, the big thing here is that we're going to teach our students to lead, to engage, to become empowered, to advocate for themselves, and to be leaders, okay? That's what the world wants. That's what businesses want. That's what corporations want. That's what leading communities necessitate. So we'll be working hard, but that's kind of our vision, working with your student and with you over the course of the 4 years. And then our core beliefs, once again, we have a laundry list of them, but they center around the student, they center around you, mom and dad, and they center around the community and how we are integrated into all three facets and what we're going to do to assist, okay, and what we believe in. So here's our philosophy of education. Essentially, this is what we want to do. If you have an iPhone, if you want to take a picture of this QR code, you can look through the district curriculum guide to see all the courses that we offer from freshman year through senior year. That would include advanced placement classes. That would include South Suburban dual credit classes. That would include career and technical education classes. Full gamut. Okay, so please, it's on the school website. But if you want to have it on your phone, by all means, get the QR code and have it on your phone. Okay. Here's what we're planning to do. Your student schedule has already been set based off the information we had received from either Heritage Memorial or the school that your student attended for junior high if it was outside of our district. But here's some things that are important, okay? And one, this is what colleges, this is what schools look at, and these are important in the big picture. One, class rank, okay? So it's different than junior highs, okay? It's not just about getting an A and a B and passing. It's now competitive. You want to be ranked in the top 25% of your class. You want to be ranked in the top 10%. You want to be the best student in your class, right? 1 out of 500. Because by the time you get to be a senior, if you have those credentials, you become more attractive as a student to colleges and universities. They want to admit you because they know that you're academically strong, that you can excel. If you can excel here, you can excel there, okay? So class rank is very important when applying to schools in 4 years. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak to the future because understand students who are 13, 14 years old, maybe 15, this 4 years is going to go by quick, okay? It's going to go by quick, and the biggest thing is academics. Starting off day one, understanding you're going to get homework. You're going to be asked to read novels, not just parts of novels, not just a chapter from a book. You're going to be reading 300, 400-page books over the course of 9 weeks. You're going to be asked to write 3 to 5-page papers. There's a chance that you might have homework every night in every subject. That's the reality. And this is the biggest change. And this is where class rank and even grade point average come in, ladies and gentlemen. In high school, failure is not acceptable. If you fail classes in high school, the problem is that you have to repeat them. And if you don't repeat them, then you don't graduate. There's no pass on, there's no push out the door. This is 4 years from day one. Your grades matter. The types of classes matter, okay? GPA does matter a little bit, but I would say your strength of courses, Mr. Johnson, Ms. James, would you correct me? That's the big indicator. Because every college or university has their own grading scale that they factor all the classes that you took in. So, like Mr. Gorley said earlier, he'd like everyone to participate in one activity. Well, we'd like every student from the guidance office perspective to work on maybe taking an honors class, or maybe down the line, senior year, taking advanced placement class in which you're going to be challenged. Colleges and universities, even trade schools, like to see students who take on academic challenges in the classroom. Okay? Performance on the SAT, yeah, some schools now, or most schools, are going to test optional, right? And we're starting to see that there's some holes in the whole SAT thing, but for right now we have to take the SAT, which will be taken your students' junior year. And then the big thing, extracurricular. Coach Brew, do you want to talk about extracurricular as the athletic director?
As Mr. Gorley mentioned, his goal is that every student is involved in at least one athletic or activity, so basically one activity or something outside of the regular school day. We have a very comprehensive athletic and activity program. We have 24 sports, 12 boys, 12 girls, and we have, I believe, over 30 different activities and clubs that we offer to our students. So my goal, I know Mr. Gorley is one sport or activity, my goal is that every student is doing multiple sports, multiple activities. As I mentioned, we have 12 that are spread out. One thing that I want to make sure parents are aware is that our fall sports, which all begin on August 9th with the exception of girls swim, which starts on August 12th, all of those start before school starts. So please make sure that you're not waiting until the first day of school in order to come out for those teams, because some of them, such as our girls volleyball team, will have tryouts. And if you miss the tryouts, unfortunately it's going to be too late for your daughter for girls volleyball to be a member of the team. Now, where Mr. Gorley is standing, there's a stack of papers that were available also at registration today. So if you did not get one, please get one. On one side of the paper, it lists our fall sports, their start times, locations. There's a registration process, making sure that they have a physical. And then on the other side, it lists all of our other sport seasons. So there's a fall, winter, and spring. And the start dates, or the first day of tryouts for those sports, or first day of practice, and also information for those coaches. So my office number's on there, the coaches' emails are on there, so please reach out to them. But as Mr. O'Rourke started to mention, colleges are looking to see what your student did to make themselves stand out. If they were involved in, higher AP classes, they took honors classes, they challenge themselves academically, plus they're also going to be looking to see what they did outside of the regular school day. Through sports and activities, your students are going to learn a lot of different things, a lot of life lessons, probably the number one being time management, being able to be a member of that club or be a member of that sport, and also partake in getting their homework done. So again, we encourage them to do that, because I don't want students to look back on their senior year and then they're filling out their college application, or they're looking at applications and they then want to join a sport or realize that maybe it's too late. So please make sure you're taking advantage of those different opportunities. Mr. Johnson works with my office also he's our NCAA liaison. So at some point, if your son or daughter has interest in playing sports at the college level, even though if Mr. Johnson is not your counselor, he's the man to talk to as far as regarding that. But again, I want to encourage everybody to get involved and do as many different things. Do something that's going to make yourself stand out. Because when your senior year, you're filling out those applications, they're going to be coming into the colleges, and they're going to look to want to know what your student is going to do to stand out. And again, we teach a lot of life lessons through athletics and activities. And also, it's a chance for, especially if you have a newer student, to meet people. Immediately, you're going to be meeting new people. People that your son or daughter might not normally be friends with, and they're going to learn a lot of different things through that as well. So again, if you have any questions, I'll be available after. There's also the paper by the door where Mr. Gorley was standing. But again, I encourage you to get involved in one way or another.
Thank you, Mr. Brew. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, real quick just to recap. So understand, starting your freshman year, class rank, GPA, strength of courses, it's all about creating an academic portfolio or a resume for your student. Because at the end of 4 years, when they start applying to colleges, universities, trade schools, etc., you want to put the best resume and best foot forward. Okay? And we'll talk about how we're going to ensure or support that throughout the course of this year. Mr. Johnson? All right, so every student should have algebra, biology, English 9, and a world history. Okay, those are 4 common core subjects. Each freshman will take a physical education class, first or second semester, followed by a health class, first or second semester. Okay, and then the available electives would be Spanish, business tech, or success seminar, possibly an art class or a theater art class. That's the basic freshman schedule. Our academic philosophy is this. Okay, academic success is defined by attaining A's and B's throughout the school year. Okay, semester grades determine your GPA. Students are enrolled in the most rigorous classes. Okay, we want the right amount of challenge, the right amount of adversity, and yet your student pushes through and gets the A or B, maybe a possible C. There's nothing wrong with a possible C. Students develop their skills from where they're at now. They develop and further them. They're taught to think critically, and they're going to succeed. Okay, from this step moving forward, and we're building skills from this day moving forward for them to develop and succeed 4 years down the road. Okay, so the other thing is that we're taking a very, well, we've kind of changed our approach, but and done a lot of different things. We had some things planned before the pandemic that didn't come to fruition, but coming back to us, we understand that social emotional wellness, not only just because it's in the media, but because we've done some things within my office to understand that we know students are dealing with a lot, okay? So, and we also understand that if students are not doing well mentally, physically, okay, that they're not going to succeed academically. So just understand that my office, as well as the academics, as well as all the post-secondary stuff, all right, we take this very seriously. And my staff is awesome. They do a great job working with our students, working with parents, okay, with one-on-one counseling. We have group counseling available for students. We utilize student surveys to understand what the dynamic is, what students are feeling, what's a possible concern. One thing that we're going to start this year, and this will be our first class doing it, will be mental health screenings. We're going to, in health classes starting in September, we've partnered with an outside agency for us to understand our students better and be more proactive in providing supports. So incoming freshmen will take a 10-question survey provided by this company called Alyssa's Mission that we partnered with. Obviously, it will be confidential. Your consent, you'll get a letter at the start of school about it, but we want to start doing this from, this would be our starting point, but as we move forward, because we want to be more proactive in supporting students' concerns, okay? Some things to be looking out for, especially my SEL staff. My department wants to be putting on parent workshops and seminars, not only about mental health topics, but a variety of things, so please look out for that. And then we have some partnerships with some outside agencies that come into the building. Alyssa's Mission will be helping us in the fall. We work with Aunt Martha's, a company called Be Well, CETA, and Ingalls. So we work with a lot of people to try to support our students in the best way possible and make sure that we can support them so that they can be successful in and out of the classroom. Okay? So, expectations. Mr. Johnson? All right, so real quick, this sounds kind of corny, but you are here, right? So this summer I took in a doctorate program at DePaul, and I took this class this summer on design thinking. These two guys from Stanford came up with this concept, and when I read this book, this started to kind of resonate with me, but outside of a classroom in Stanford, before you walk in to go to class, there's this sign that says, "You are here." And it makes you kind of pause and reflect as to where you are. So if we think about it, you're a grade 9 student who's entering TF South for the first time, really haven't been in a traditional school setting in 18 months. You're smart, you have ability, you have skills, right? We're all kind of in the same boat. Question is, you're here now. 4 years from now, we have to answer the question, which is also part of this design thinking, where do you want to be, right? Not just like, well, I just want to be a graduate, right? You want to think, like, really, like, where do you want to be? Because just a graduate isn't good enough. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be at the top schools? Do you want to be applying to Ivy League schools? Do you say, you know what, I'm really into being interested in an electrician, and 2 years from now as a junior, I want to make sure I have a GPA strong enough to get into the District 215 electrician program. Or maybe you've got a passion for barbering, right? And you want to, by the time you're a junior, to make sure that you have the GPA and the requirements to enter into our barber college and cosmetology school. Or, once again, maybe you want to apply to Princeton, an Ivy League school that has an impeccable academic resume to even be considered. Well, if that's the goal, then let's work towards it, right? You have to start thinking about where we're at, how you want to develop your skills, and move to be where you want to be. So, we have these phrases. We call them catchphrases. We try to use them in every freshman classroom. You'll see them posted in the hallways. Here's one of them. It's kind of simple, but academics matter. Every assignment, every assessment, every class. You need 3 credits at the end of semester 1, incoming freshman. Okay? 3 credits. You get 0.5 credits for each class passed. You have 6 classes each semester, all the way until you're a senior and you graduate and you set up in this auditorium before you walk across the stage. Okay? Every assignment, if you complete every assignment to the best of your ability and you submit it, you should probably end up with at least a C in the class. Okay? Academics matter. Every assignment, every assessment, every class. Because if you don't take this seriously, then that's when my staff starts sending letters every 3 weeks to parents about how we're not applying ourselves academically in the classroom and not reaching our full potential. So understand, parents, starting the 3rd week of school, if your student is not passing classes, you will receive a letter from my office every 3 weeks notifying you of your student's academic, what's the word I'm looking for? Progress. I like that, that's positive. All right? So, understand that's something to expect. It'll come to your email. Next, attendance matters. Every minute, every hour, every day. We don't tolerate tardiness. We don't tolerate ditching class. And we definitely don't tolerate you missing full days of school without calling Ms. Druno or having excused absence. When you start missing days, okay, of school, that means your academic success is going to drop. That's where I'm going to leave it there. So, make sure you're on time, every class, every day, in the classroom doing what you need to do. Okay? Addressing behavior. Real simple. We start strong, day 1, we end strong each semester, and in between we make good decisions. Okay? Everyone starts with a clean slate. Okay? So whatever happened in junior high, it's over. History. You start day 1 as a freshman at TF South. We want you to start by making good decisions. Because any poor decisions that put you away from school decreases your academic success. And that question that I asked you, where do you want to be in 4 years? Right? Because we are here now, is going to detract and pull you further and further away from reaching that goal. So please, make good decisions coming here as a freshman from day 1, in all facets. Another one here, excellence, right? That's what we strive for. That's what everyone strives for on a daily basis. Integrity, pride, hard work, and dedication. That's what it takes. That's what we expect. That's what we're going to push and try to instill in our freshmen, and we try to do that every year since I've been here. Okay, graduation. Simple, right? But that high school diploma, okay, creates opportunity and it creates a future. not only a high school diploma, but now college and even beyond. Okay, so understand, it might be simple, it might be easily understood for most. Yeah, I'm going to get a high school diploma, but what opportunity and what future are you going to create with them? Okay, and that's where it starts day one, working towards where you want to be in 4 years. At the end of 4 years, you need 23 credits to walk across this stage. Okay, so 3 credits per 8 semesters. That's 24 credits. If you do everything that you can and pass all your classes, you'll end up with 1+ credit, and that's not talking about any college credits that you would have attained through any of our other options. All right? So, serious question, right? Where do you want to be 4 years from now? As an individual, as a student, as a citizen? Because you're 15, you're 14, maybe 13. 4 years from now, you're 17, right? You're figuring out where you want to go, what college you want to go to, how much scholarships you can go to or get, right? What's the best fit? Sitting in Miss James' office asking her questions. I have so many choices, I don't know which one to choose. Do you want to enter a trade school? Do you want to take a gap year? Seems like a popular thing. I know if I asked my dad for a year off, he probably would have laughed at me when I graduated high school. All right? Do you want to enter the military, or do you want to start working? Those are the options that we can entertain. And we will work from my office to put your student in the best position to reach their goals and develop opportunities in any of those facets that they want to entertain. Okay? So, academic communications and supports. So, as I talked about it, if your student is not, if their progress is not good, if they're struggling, you should be hearing from the teacher. Then you should be hearing from my counselors. And then you'll be hearing from me with the 3-week notification. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we ask you to set up your Power School accounts, remember your passwords, remember your usernames. Please check Power School regularly. Okay? You have the access to grades at your fingertips. You have my information, my office's information. You have the teacher's information at your fingertips. If you got questions, utilize Power School. See where your student's at. If you have questions, ask the teacher first. If you don't like the teacher's answers, talk with the counselor, talk with myself. We'll be glad to help you. Okay? And then some mass mailers, school messenger. We've been using that a lot during the pandemic. It seems to work well. That's kind of how I communicate. We use Twitter, we use Facebook, but a lot of parents don't like that because they're not into it. So I don't know how we're going to continue. I'll post some things about events, but not necessarily important material. You'll mostly get emails from myself or my staff. Supports for your student, okay? Teachers are open here. I can't speak for other campuses, but our teachers do a great job of making time available to help, to tutor, AM or PM. What it takes is your student to go up to the teacher and ask, right? Ask for help, and that's a big thing, right? You got to take some reflection, you got to take some onus, and it's not the easiest thing to do as a grade 9 student. I know I had issues with that as a kid. I never really liked asking for help. I think I was more embarrassed about it than anything, but in hindsight, you need to ask for help if you have to, and your teachers can help you before school or after school. We have a homework center. I don't know what that's going to look like. It used to be a place where students could go in and get tutoring after school 3 days a week. I don't know how that's going to look coming out of the pandemic, but I know that we're going to have something available to students. If we ever need to set up a meeting, right? So maybe parents, you're not happy with your students' grades and you want some straight answers, call the counselors, call your student's counselor, call my office. We could set up teacher meetings in the morning. We typically do it right around 8 a.m. And we sit down and talk, and we put together plans, right? And we put together supports and put our heads together and work together to figure out how to make your students successful. The other thing that we're going to start back, we kind of did it during the pandemic, but in a virtual capacity, frankly, it was almost impossible. But Mr. Brew and his paraprofessionals did a great job with it. But So there's this thing called MTSS, right? It's just really this fancy thing where if your student's struggling a lot, right? Well, we have these support teams that are comprised of counselors, administrators, deans, and we get together weekly and we talk about kids and we put kids in groups and we figure out and we assign kids to basically educational groups where we figure out how to develop plans and we bring parents in and figure out how to support you, how to support the student. And we work in this MTSS system. There's like 3 or 4 tiers, but it's really how we develop supports to make your students successful. So instead of having them stress and struggle and shut down because maybe they're not passing a class or they're just having a tough time, because sometimes students have a tough time entering high school. Well, by week 3, we'll get these groups going, we'll get the MTSS process going. And it's another thing that we do to try to support students academically, behaviorally, and through attendance, through MTSS. Okay? All right, so lastly, I'm almost done here. I know you guys have to get home, but focusing on college, career, and curriculum. So understand that everyone here at TS South is enrolled in a college prep curriculum. That's the way it's set up. You have honors, you have advanced placement, right? Honors is here, advanced placement is here. That's where you can take some rigorous classes. You can get some college credit if you score high enough on their AP exam in May, right? And it looks good on your transcript that we send to schools that you were in AP English, language lit, you were in Spanish lit and culture. We offer 14 different advanced placement classes, and like I said, and I think you guys would agree, right? Our enrollments have gone up, our scores have gone up, and I think the overall success from top to bottom has risen. And our teachers do a great job with our students. Our counselors do a great job supporting it and getting kids enrolled. And we look outside the box, right? It's not just the brightest kids in the room that we try to get in here. We try to diversify the room, diversify the pool of students. And so we try to push that maybe by the time you're a senior, maybe you might not start off with honors and advanced classes, but by the time the senior year rolls around, maybe you entertain one of these advanced placement classes, right? Career technical education, I did mention it. We just added a new electricians program, but we have multiple career and technical education programs at our Center for Academics and Technology. Kids take classes, so they can start here 4 periods a day, travel over there, take 2 classes in the afternoon, and those individuals who are interested in more career auto body, collision repair, auto body. There's building construction, engineering. So there's a wide array of classes, but that's going to continue to grow. And then students who are able, we have dual credit classes where students attend South Suburban, right? Taking psychology, digital photography. I don't know, it's been late, I'm sorry, so I'm kind of drawn, but obviously students have the ability to get college credit. And then the one thing that we added is National Equity Lab. It's our first semester utilizing it. But students this year, we have 9 students who are going to be taking an English class called, it's called like the City in Review, from Whitman to hip hop. So it has like narratives from Walt Whitman, who wrote in the 1800s, to Nas, to turned hip hop artist. It's being taught by a Harvard professor via streaming. So our students will take classes from a Harvard professor and then get 3 college credits from Arizona State University. And in the spring, we're looking to offer a criminal justice class from Howard University, which is in DC. And so we're going to look to build every year on this program. So once again, you get a college transcript, you get college credit, you can start taking it your junior year. And it looks to be very interesting and very promising for students. And once again, if we talk about building resumes, right? How nice would it be to sit there and say, Yeah, I took a class taught by a Harvard professor when I was a junior, right? And then you get college credit for it. So understand, we're working on building opportunities, creating academic opportunities, and frankly, outstanding opportunities for our kids. Cosmetology and barbering, that's a new program starting this year. Got to be a junior to get enrolled in it. Have to have a certain GPA, very good attendance, and no disciplinary infractions. We're also starting a future teacher program, which we're excited about as well. And that'll be offered junior year. Okay, so a couple things, parents, that we need to talk about is how are we going to build this college and career readiness? How are we going to start thinking 4 years down the road? Okay, well, we utilize this program called Naviance, right? So every student will have a Naviance account. Parents, you should be able to go in and through your student, you should be able to view their account, see what they're working on, and it has hundreds of things. Different activities, different interest profilers, and thanks to Mr. Johnson's expertise with Naviance, we've developed a very good system that we're going to start to implement. What is that? The second or third week of school. So, Naviance, if you hear about it, it's a college and career readiness platform, and we do a lot out of it. Okay, we have college reps come in. They sign up through Naviance. Your student uses Naviance to go see a representative speak from U of I, okay? Sign up to see someone speak from Northwestern. It happens every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 9:30 to 12:30, and we've increased our college reps, like I said at the start of the presentation, where prior to the pandemic, we had close to 80 to 85 colleges and universities come to see our students. When I first started, we had close to maybe 30, okay? So, your student will have access. Your student is required to attend at least one college and university representative. Okay? Hear them speak about what the expectation is to go to Illinois State, Eastern Illinois, or a career speaker, what it takes to go into the IBEW electrician program, what does it take to become a bricklayer. Okay? Those are the things, and we're going to talk about this quest for success at the end. Got a couple more slides and then we'll open it up to everyone. But this, your students should become very comfortable with. We sign up with everything through this. We do activities in this. We set goals in this, not only academic, but as Coach Brew and Mr. Gorley talked about earlier, extracurricular goals, things that they want to achieve outside the classroom, and we work to attain them. Mr. Johnson, thank you. So, we'll start September, working on the activity. Semester 1, career intelligences. Semester 2, we'll talk about learning and productivity. Every quarter, right? So there's there's two quarters in a semester, 4 quarters over the course of the year. Each quarter in your students' biology class, they will set a SMART goal, something that they can achieve and work towards, academic and extracurricular. They should visit the What's New section of the Naviance homepage. That will have every college rep listed, okay, from August 26th through the end of the year. Okay, we have schools signing up right now as we speak. We're going to provide this opportunity as well. We created a career speaker series, so we're having community businesses, lawyers, doctors, auto mechanics, plumbers from the community come in and speak to our kids about, we're trying to make that connection, right, between what we're doing academically to how we connect that to their career field. So we have 26 speakers lined up through first semester, everything from an EMT to an architect. Students can see it, sign up for it, come down and see these individuals speak about their careers, right? And their successful careers. So once again, we're trying to build that knowledge and pique interest of what your student has, right? Or wants to do. We've built a college and career genius bar, so everyone has a Chromebook. If you want to come down during lunch, instead of sitting there with nothing to do for 55 minutes other than well, I ate for 20, I saw some friends, and there's nothing else. You can go to the College and Career Genius Bar, log on to your Chromebook. You can go into Naviance, do activities. You can search colleges. You can figure out, where do you want to go? Do I want to go to school in New York City? Do I want to go to LA? Do I prefer going to school maybe in the Northwest? Maybe I'll go to Seattle. Naviance has those capabilities. Your student as an incoming freshman can start those searches and start to figure out where their dreams are going to take them. Okay? Meet with college and university representatives we talked about, meet with career representatives, and this is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of a big thing. I know Ms. James, she's really excited for this. So this IACAC thing is it's an organization for counselors, and Ms. James a couple of years said, like, we should really join this. And I was like, okay, I don't know what it is, but all right, fine. Wrote the check, sent it in, and I started to find out more about this organization that she belonged to. And lo and behold, I met this lady from Michigan State at a college fair who was a representative, and she talked about this event. And 2 years later, in an 18-month pandemic, we are hosting an IACA sponsor. And in the counseling world, Ms. James, right, this is a big deal. It's like a real big deal. She's really excited. It's going to be a lot of work for me, but it's okay. So we're going to have on September 22nd in the Red Gym, that big gray cube down the way, we're going to have over 100 colleges and universities and career representatives come to TF South to speak to our students. Your freshmen are welcome to attend. They will get information about schools. Michigan State is one of them. I think Iowa's coming, U of I is coming, Illinois State. So 100 schools that your student can literally walk down the street, come in for free, there's no charge. They sign up through their phones. They meet with colleges, they get QR codes, colleges get their information, and then you guys start communicating, okay? So it's never been done before here at TF South. I can't wait to put this on. I've been working hard over the summer, and I think it's going to be a great event. So please, mark your calendars, put it in your calendars now. September 22nd at 5 p.m., our first ever IACA sponsored college and career fair, hosting 100 colleges and universities. Mr. Johnson. All right, so Quest for Success. In those pamphlets that you guys got in your folders. All right, so Ms. James last spring prompted me to come up with this idea, or propose this idea to me for seniors, right? Because we've got all these crazy requirements for seniors now, like community service hours we have to track, and FAFSA, and whether you're going to turn in your financial aid or whatnot. So, so I had some time on my hands, and I created it for all 4 grade levels, right? So we have one for seniors, but our Quest for Success, and you can look at this in your pamphlets, but this is kind of goals that we want to reach. We want to get our freshmen into, especially coming out of our remote environment, this idea of working together to attain success. So our goals are PPS, freshman class, and if we reach these goals, maybe at the end of the year, we can do something to celebrate our success, okay? But we know that 100% of our students will create a Naviance account. We will work diligently within that account. We know that 100% of our grade 9 students will set an academic and extracurricular goal every quarter. We can monitor and track that. 90%, that's our goal. 90% of our freshmen will attain 3 credits by the end of semester 1 and 6 credits to be on track by the end of semester 2, okay? Prior to the pandemic, we were right there, and then we kind of faltered last year, which is understandable, but we want to get back to that 90%. The higher we can get that number, the better it is for us, for my department, that we'll have students graduating with 4 years on time. 95% of our students will participate in 1 or more extracurricular activities, supporting the athletic director's office. 95% of our students will attend classes regularly. 100% of our students will take PSAT. Remember, the SAT I talked about, we'll take junior year. We'll take that every spring and if not fall to kind of track your students' progress. And then 95% of our grade 9 students will meet with at least 1 college rep during semester 1, okay? those are our goals. Mom, dad, parents, guardians, we want you to put these goals on the fridge and make this a conversation, right? Because if your student is being held accountable by you and us to achieve what he or she is doing in and out of the classroom in all phases of your student's high school career, academics, college career, and social emotional wellness, then we'll be in a good position come the end of the year, all right? And you'll receive my praises and thank yous for it. But inside of your pamphlet has all of this. We'll be preaching this all year long to your sons, daughters, and you as well. And I believe that is the end, Mr. Johnson. Nope, keeps going. All right, so we talked about that. I put it in a little bit bigger writing if you didn't have your pamphlets with you. But once again, academic, college career, extracurricular, it's pretty simple. Our job from the PPS office is to start your student on the right foot, build up their resume, create opportunities so that at the end of 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, they have not a reluctant choice, but they have an exciting choice, and in all honesty, multiple choices to choose from. And so that's our job, that's our mission, that's what we believe in, and that's what you could hold us accountable for over the course of the next 4 years. So I've done enough talking for tonight, for today. Is there any questions for the general audience that I could answer? Feel free to raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. That's a good question. So Mom's question was essentially, would a student be allowed to carry an additional device, is what you're asking me, outside of the Chromebook? Right. Yeah. So I'm assuming that they could carry it, but I don't know how effective of a tool it would be, because that Chromebook and the whole entire platform that our district IT built is based off of access to your Google accounts. And there's if you go, and probably should have shown you this tonight, but if you go to student resources and you go to the district, there's like a student portal page. It pulls up like a window that's everything is accessible through Chromebook. So if you use an iPad, it might be more compact and more accessible, but I don't know that it would be accessible for all the options of the Chromebook. But I could look into that, and if you want to give me your name at the end, I'll look into it, get a better answer for you. But you're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are the ninth graders able to carry a trapper keeper or some type of?
So yeah, so we don't allow book bags. Book bags are. Let me see this. You can bring a book bag to school, but once you come into school, book bags got to be put up. That's the district policy. We don't. We're not as free as some campuses in allowing that, and that's not a policy. That's ours. But if a student has a trapper keeper to keep all their folders and notebooks, trapper keepers in my 20 years here have been acceptable. We just ask that, yeah, trapper keepers are fine. We'll keep it simple. And yes.
Now, are you all setting up the Naviance account or on a parent?
No. So yeah. So the Naviance account will be set up by our district IT department. You don't have to worry about setting up anything. We'll disseminate the information on how to log in. It should be just your student's username and password that's unique to your student. But we'll go into classrooms, like I said, in September, and we'll get that straightened out. So there's nothing that the parent has to do with Naviance. That's all on our side. Okay? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Can the students carry purses? Yes. So this takes me back to my dean days. So yes, purses are allowed, but we can't have those fashionable extra large handbags that could like fit your entire locker. Manageable purses are okay, but if they start to become too big where the dean's office will say something. So small purses are fine. Nothing too big or excessive.
And how long do they get between each class?
Okay, so that's a great question. So passing periods are 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to leave class A, get to your locker, get to class B on time. And we do take tardies. Tardies are counted. I think it's 4 tardies before you get sent to the dean. So you are being held accountable and are responsible to get to class on time. And it's 5 minutes to every class. Yes, sir.
Has the district made a decision on wearing face masks?
Yes.
As of now, they're required.
Yeah. So as of now, yes, sir, they're requiring face masks. Okay. Any other questions that I can answer? If you have more personal questions, by all means, feel free to stop up. Thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting with you. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to reach out to myself or my staff. Have a good night.